Hello and welcome to Campaign Comrades, your favorite leftist gaming podcast. I'm your host Ben, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts.
What up? It's Andrew.
What's going on? It's Matt.
How we doing, boys? How's your gaming week been going?
I'm starting to fiend, man. I just got back to the East Coast, and I had to leave my PS5 over on the Best Coast, West Coast, and I'm already jonesing for a little taste of that Sony.
Okay, first off, how dare you, sir?
Man, well, yeah, we got to say, before we get into that, we got to say, yeah, give props to the absolute soldier for, taking a red eye home yesterday and still having the energy to podcast. The folks at home, I'm saluting. And I ask you to as well. Matt's doing the foppish British salute, so absolutely. But yeah, I feel your pain, man. That's pretty hard to deal with. I just finished playing Stray on my PlayStation, and I've moved over to a PC game, and I'm already like, I need my next Sony hit, man. So like, I need that dopamine rush.
Yeah, I'm still playing through Strangers on my PS5. I talked about it yesterday on Uncut Comrades. Check that out. Friday nights at 7:45,
or the YouTube channel afterwards,
Eastern Standard Time.
But
Twitch. But I had Andrew, maybe this will help satisfy you a little bit. I had a PS5 crash, actually. I had one of my first game crashes.
Really?
On PS5. So maybe it'll help you not miss it as much. Yeah. I don't know. Strangers of Paradise just had a moment. I turned around and everything froze and all my inputs stopped working. So I did the last resort, force eject the disc.
Would it not even let you like return to the home page, like the PS home?
Did it restart?
Like controller was doing nothing. Yeah. So the PS5 didn't even shut off. It basically like generated a crash report for the game. It was like something went wrong in that. Like we'll like send this ahead, and then like it was fine afterwards. I played it right again after. But like it definitely was like, okay, like there it is, like almost 2 years into like the life cycle. And like, yeah, of course I'm gonna have it's a gaming device. There'll be stuff like that.
How long are you looking at not having the PlayStation? How
I'm going back a
month.
generation for about a little bit more than a month now. So I'm gonna be rocking the PS4, missing my haptics.
Oof.
Gonna try and do the remote play. We'll see how well that goes. I don't think it's gonna be all that enjoyable.
What is that?
Oh no.
Is that like streaming stuff?
Essentially.
Yeah, you can stream from a PS5 to a PS4 as long as they both have an internet connection.
Wild.
So it just emulates it turns on the PS5 and like emulates it on.
Yeah, you're basically doing a virtual window with a PS4.
I would be so paranoid. Yeah, you're literally on the opposite side of the country. That like
it's gonna be so slow.
Well, I'm just afraid that that it would never turn the PS5 off, and you'd get back a month from now, and the thing is just like a molten mess.
Fire.
Fortunately, I do have it set to auto
right,
rest if nothing happens after like 60 minutes. So we'll be good from that perspective.
Yeah.
And I got it on a surge protector too. So like I was a little initially concerned about that, but protected from that's that fine. Now, so I'm good.
No, what I'm worried about is you're going to be trying to do this and play your game, and you're going to be hearing through your speaker like a foreign man playing Stray. There was something on Reddit this morning about someone who's like, I was trying to play Stray and I could hear like I don't remember what country it was, like some like a foreign person like playing Stray in my headset.
Somebody from Kyrgyzstan.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't happen.
All right. Well, we'll pour one out for Andrew.
Yeah.
Really.
When I'm playing with my Steam Deck tomorrow, I will pour one out.
Going back to the dark ages here.
Yeah. The man is really struggling. I don't think anybody has sacrificed this much in history. So again, salute.
I mean, he's right up there with some of the goats.
It's
goats of sacrifice.
But before
I appreciate that.
before we get the accusations coming through, that we're all Sony ponies, and that we're just can't get enough of that sweet PlayStation action. Let's just move right on into our first major topic, but I guess the first subheading of today is it's all about industry consolidation. Things are moving along at a normal pace. Things are going ahead unimpeded by any quote unquote regulatory agencies. But the first one being, Sony completed its 3.7 billion acquisition of Bungie. And, we are, don't let it be said that, that we're not, say critical of that as well. That, again, consolidation, no matter under whose banner it's going under, it's never a good thing for us consumers. It's not a good thing for even these studios. Like, look at the shit that Bungie was. I mean, they've basically made Sony be like, they've called Sony's bluff. But let's talk about the whole the series of statements being made by different studios, decrying the overturning of Roe v. Wade and stuff like that, and making statements about what they will do and provide for their employees. Like Sony was like, any studio, first party or otherwise, under our banner can't say shit, and Bungie is did call their bluff and said, "Fuck you, we're gonna do that." But for not that Bungie is a small developer by any means, but a smaller developers, being under the corporate banner, sure, has its infrastructure benefits, but also has, plenty of drawbacks as well. So it's not really good for them either in many ways. But yeah. What are our thoughts about that? I mean, we've known about it, we've talked about it. We knew this one was going to sail through, no problem. Too small. Yeah. That's so funny to think about, though, that $3.6 billion is small.
Yeah, the scale of numbers when you get to that size is crazy.
Yeah. No, and it's definitely this probably had no regulatory scrutiny of any sort because of, and even at that dollar size, they essentially, just rubber stamp it and it's good to go. This is not in the grand scheme of things.
Again, look at what's happening right alongside it, the size of that compared to this.
Yeah.
So of course, why would we care about this? There's something else that we have to theoretically look at, be okay with anyway.
Right. And Sony, even before this, Sony was a pretty big investor in Bungie, if I'm remembering correctly. So
they had a weird partnership at the beginning of the PS4 with Original Destiny.
Yeah,
we've talked about that. They had some at least limited exclusivity for a while. On Destiny. But yeah, this one, just again, the word that it's been approved, the purchase has gone through. Sure, there's technical stuff that will need to be ironed out before they're actually working under Sony management, but that's basically all but done. But really not getting talked about a whole lot in press, other than when the day it went through, you got your slew of articles just talking about it happened, it's done, what did we expect, nothing else. But what I've just been seeing even more day after day, and it's nothing new is necessarily coming out, but I keep seeing basically the same pieces reposted. As you were alluding to, Matt, the big deal in question, the one that everything else is being compared to now, and if it doesn't even approach it, then yeah, of course it's going to get the rubber stamp approval. But we're seeing more and more, again, proving our predictions correct, that the Microsoft acquisition of Activision is going to also, but despite absolutely obliterating any type of record in the tech industry for this type of acquisition, is absolutely going to go through, and people are saying that it could happen as early as next month. I was looking up.
I think it will happen, right?
It's not for certain, because the time limit may not have kicked in yet, because I was looking up the FTC's pre-merger and the review process, the pre-merger notification and the merger review process. There are 5 steps. We are technically in step 3. the fifth step is basically it's just like either it gets turned down or it goes through, so that you can't even really count that one as the real step. But it's they've like they went through the first few steps, filed the notice for the deal. The either the FTC or the DOJ decides who's going to review it in step 2. And then step 3 is there's like an initial waiting period, and or they get to issue the whichever agency, and in this case it's the FTC, gets to
FTC, yeah.
issue a request for additional information, what is referred to as the second request. They did that. They have made that second request for additional information. It's been confirmed that Microsoft has complied with that request and has provided that information. Where there's a little bit of uncertainty is we don't know that Activision has done it yet. They have to. They are obligated to do so, and I don't know why they would necessarily drag their feet unless will somehow let them bury some other information that they don't want seen. Which I'm sure is possible, but it's basically once both parties have provided that secondary bit of information, the agency has 30 days to review it, and if they don't, strike it down and offer their objection within that 30 days, the deal goes through. So that's why everybody's saying, "Oh, it could be a month," because we know now, based on this date, that Microsoft has complied and provided the secondary information. So long as Activision has done it, so we've got 30 days, and beyond that, we'll see. Which, honestly, if it does, the only thing that, and again, we're not admitting any. We never admit defeat here at Campaign Comrades. But our speculation, and I mean, it was based on larger industry stuff that the deal was going to go through, but we thought it was going to be sometime next year.
Yeah, this has been quick.
It's been fast as hell, which again is never a good sign in terms of the regulatory bit.
Pass it through, boys.
Yeah, it's literally just, nope, okay, let's get it done with. Like, we don't want to deal with this anymore.
Just the speed in and of itself makes me think that Activision's probably submitted this stuff at this point. I would be surprised if they're dragging their feet. Bobby Kotick's got a nice check waiting for him. He's not going to slow that down.
Yeah, the only thing I can possibly imagine is if like there's some way that their lawyers are being like, yeah, like if we maybe like we need more time to give them a absolute mountain of information that cannot possibly sift through in 30 days.
Yeah.
So that way we can hide some shit and so we can, they can cover their legal basis and be able to like, yeah, we provided everything that we had to, but like the bad stuff that would have maybe raised some red flags or caused the
buried in thousands of pages.
Would be absolutely buried in that. So I would not make that.
That's fair.
Not say that's out of the realm of possibility.
That's fair.
That Activision lawyers would try to do as much as they could to insulate the company. That's because again they want the deal to go through. No, that's not obviously they want the deal to go through. Why else would they have accepted it? But that's the only reasoning I could understand with why they would drag their feet at all.
But like, I don't even think, I mean, this review is more based around the FTC protecting the consumer, right? Like this is more about our current view of antitrust. Not to step into Mike's territory because I have no real knowledge of it, but like I just think they're not going to care if like the business doesn't align. Like if Activision's numbers are found to be not aligning with the price Microsoft paid, like that's not really what the FTC is analyzing. They're not analyzing the merits of this on a business basis. They're analyzing this on what's the impact to the consumer from an antitrust perspective.
It's not a monopoly. They're the third biggest nut. So
exactly. Not a monopoly.
It's got to be. I mean, you are correct. That's the only thing is if there's some evidence that Activision would have that if they were to remain independent, that the prices of their games would be the same or lower. It's right. If there's any evidence of what they give, that if they go to Microsoft, that they're that the things that they're selling would be more expensive, that's what's going to trip the antitrust. Because again, not to overly simplify the things that our legal expert would have much more detail on. That's the case? Is how
Yeah.
or as to how antitrust works in our current
Yeah.
in the current understanding of it. It's like it's purely about price paid out to the
Really about
consumer.
price, and the FTC doesn't give a two shits about if this like is actually a good business deal for either party.
Nothing whatsoever is that on their radar. Yeah, so we'll see if a month rolls around, see if anything has come from it. But yeah, don't get your hopes up that this is gonna anything is gonna keep this from going through. I think that Microsoft has too much spending power of their own to not
Too
let
much
this go through.
political clout too.
Yeah, there's no way. But it's not just video games that are seeing massive consolidation. The tabletop gaming industry is seeing it as well. One story that stuck out to me this past week is the virtual table, the like basically singular virtual tabletop service. Sorry to any Fantasy Ground fans, you don't count. It's
I know some Fantasy Ground sickos.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, from what I understand, the interface on Fantasy Grounds is better, but everybody's on Roll20. I hate the interface for Roll20. It's literally like working in Windows 98. It's really
it's a classic design interface. Okay,
sure. Let's call it that.
D&D Beyond Supremacy.
Yeah, who knows now that's been bought by I mean, I don't know. I never knew why that wasn't because it was always, officially licensed. And
it always felt official.
Yeah, I don't know why it never was, but like, yeah, that was a long time coming. But yeah, but Roll20, again, the massive virtual tabletop, millions and millions of users across the world. They have entered into an agreement to purchase One Bookshelf, the parent company behind Drive-Thru RPG and the DMs Guild, the two major online marketplaces for third-party, in particular, 5th edition content, but also other RPG content as well. So they're proposing to merge. Still, even though again these companies are relatively large and have a lot of weight to throw around within the industry itself comparatively is small enough that nothing will stop this from going through at all. That was never. I didn't even hear anything at all about that being remotely a possibility. It's basically like, yeah, it's done already. Is what I've heard. But
well, the other thing there is, I think there's like dollar thresholds, I think, to kind of where those sorts of FTC, DOJ investigations, or whatever you want to call it, kind of kick in. So that could also be part of it.
As like at least the original tabletop gamer here in the group, I will say I'm not feeling too great about this. One Bookshelf, it had over the past months and maybe even within a year or so, like the last year or so, has really been doing some kind of sketchy and really bad stuff with like implementing stringent and harsh guidelines on its creators, which oftentimes have been used to target marginalized creators for quote unquote violating community guidelines. So one of the ones that really sticks out in my head was like several queer creators had to like pull their stuff because the artwork was too provocative. Because but then
that's lame.
But then like they allow artwork with like basically entirely nude female characters, and I don't like the phrase for the male gaze, but that essentially what it was, like for the heteronormative appeal. that's not considered, like against the community guidelines. Only gay stuff, is bad. And so like that was a big thing. That was like over a year ago at this point. That was some bullshit. But then
I mean, they are trying to take over Western culture and ruin our values. So
Disney is queering our culture.
They're making the frickin' frogs gay.
Hey, man, like as someone who actually studied queer theory in grad school, that would be good if that was actually true.
Yeah,
it's not. But it's not. But the latest one, this one like came out like this was like last week or something, or a week or two ago. It didn't make it both didn't make the cut and also didn't make the second cut for uncut Comrades. Again, go check that out. Fridays at Twitch at campaign_comrades or on our YouTube channel. But so this one was an anti-disparagement policy, where it said, and I quote, publishers who make derogatory or defamatory statements on social media about One Bookshelf or our staff may be subject to modification or termination of their publisher account. And it's just like something about that doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem very cool. There's like, no,
you can't criticize us.
Yeah, you can't say bad things about me. I'm very fragile. I'm in a fragile emotional state. You're gonna make me do things to myself. But it's really sketchy, and it's sad to see. So like, it's obviously not good that these entities were, like, again, like I said, held a lot of sway to begin with. Within the industry. It's like if you don't abide by those community guidelines of One Bookshelf, good luck selling your content as an independent creator. Yeah, maybe you could do a Patreon, but like that's where all the sales get done. It's like on DM's Guild and Drive Through RPG. So if you run afoul of them, that's really bad. And Roll20, like I said, has such a large player base that now bringing those together, obviously you got to play by the rule. You got to play by the corporate rules, or else, good luck trying to, scrape a living off of this as a small creator.
And that's where and this is where the failure of like some of these antitrust laws, I think, is so evident. Like, shouldn't be about the price. It should be about being able to control a market in the marketplace, like, which is what you just described. Like, they are essentially gatekeepers to everyone who wants to be a part of this.
Yeah, who gets they get to the final say on who gets to be successful in this industry.
Right.
Which is already hard enough,
Right. Yeah, there's already so much competition even on its own. Like, you don't need someone else to purposely make it harder for you.
So solidarity with small creators. Hopefully you're able to, put out the content you want and, not but just be careful. Don't disparage One Bookshelf. Don't say naughty things about them.
And no male nipples.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No, that was it. That was the thing. That was like the big thing. It's like there was like a gay ooze creature that had like, so it was like, obviously like some ooze twink that had like an ooze tentacle going and like caressing a nipple, and it was just like, they're like, no, this is too risque. This, like, children are on this site, like. And then like again,
but look at this sexy tiefling.
Look at this like sexy demon lady. Like, look at this succubus who's like, coming to steal your soul. Just like, complete full frontal. It's like, but yeah, that's cool. That's cool and good. Oh man, shit's wild. It's wild out there, folks.
Remember, you can't criticize them, but you also you should be thinking about how you monetize your game when you're making it immediately, right? That's the only thing that matters.
Yeah, that's absolutely, and that's where we're getting to next. Let's just go with that one. Microtransactions, man. Just when we thought they were gone or relegated to mobile games, they're coming back. They're coming back with a vengeance. They're here for your wallets. They're here for your dollars and pennies. And man, that's just gonna rack up fast. But Matt, you're referring to the former EA and current Unity CEO John Riccatello. I don't know how he.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
He doesn't deserve
some
it.
Italian bastard. So he made some waves, shall we say, with, like, being generous here, poorly worded defense of the practice of microtransactions and stuff.
I think this man was just trying to get fired.
Yeah, I mean, like, but of course he sees the board doesn't care about it. The only people who could fire him, are the board, and
they don't care.
He's bringing in the dollars, so that's all that matters. But his
coverage is good coverage.
You're really not wrong about that in this sense. But he's like talking about how he's basically speaking up and defending microtransactions, and said that while those who avoid implementing monetization early on in the creative process are some of the, quote, most beautiful and pure, brilliant people, they are also some of the biggest fucking idiots.
Just like literally telling on himself for what he cares about, and it's just money. It's only money. He doesn't care about anything else.
He went on to argue in his first, quote unquote, apology that his point was that monetization strategy should be implemented early on in the development process. That, like, if it's like he's saying, like, that no creator that you've seen, like, doesn't want their game to be, like, put in the hands of players, and how part of that goes with getting people to pay for it.
No, I think what fuels my creativity is purely how I can monetize off of it, and nothing more. It is the foundational premise around anything we should create.
Why not instead like manipulating people into not realizing how much they're paying for your product, thinking that it's a good deal, rather create an interesting and immersive world that captures somebody's imagination. You'd be surprised that could sell games in this world, in this economy. Never.
I doubt it.
I have this next quote here. I've seen great games fail because they tuned their compulsion loop to 2 minutes. It's the word compulsion to me. It's just like you might as well call it call it what it is, coercion. It's like, so their compulsion loop to 2 minutes when it should have been an hour. Sometimes you wouldn't even notice the product difference between a massive success and a tremendous failure. But for this tuning and what it does to the attrition rate, there isn't a developer on the planet who wouldn't want that knowledge. And it's just like, I think you're confusing developers with executives.
No, you don't understand. They're paying for it. Therefore, they're doing all the work.
I don't know why.
Have you never met these types of people?
We haven't learned that yet.
So he had to, again, I just said it, but he had to issue like basically 2 apologies because the first one was so bad he had to then issue another one. But so he reacting to the immediate and absolutely predictable backlash. He was saying, all the reports on it were just clickbait and people cutting his words out of context. But he said, deeply sorry if what I said offended any game dev, which didn't help very much.
Sorry if you're offended.
Exactly. No, that's the thing is what it says. Like, it's not actually taking ownership of the fucked up thing you said. It's just like, if you got offended, it's your problem. But I'm sorry that happened. That you read it that way. Saying sorry if people are offended isn't really the same thing as being sorry for what was said. So that was the PC Gamer article.
Literally just saying I'm sorry you feel that way.
But he then had to do a more robust apology where he basically did the I hear you, I see you, and did the I promise to do better. It's like,
okay. Like always, it's a real apology when they say that.
Yeah. Okay.
There was like an old YouTube sketch series where it was like blank crazy celebrities like PR agent, and it'd be like every time they would come up with something like coming up with an apology, and then like getting the call of like, I made the apology and then I did this. It's like, come on, man, we just fixed this.
What the fuck? Oh man,
I'm just thinking of the BP South Park bit. We're sorry. Sorry.
Like petting a seal.
We're sorry.
So that was just like the first bit, and so like he's not the only one, the only exec to be defending microtransactions. Of course, the Blizzard boss, is it Mike Ybarra? Is that his name? I know it's Ybarra's last name, but I forget if his first name. I think it's Mike Ybarra. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Either way,
Dumbass Ibarra is the name I call him.
Whatever. So the boss at Blizzard, defended the monetization of Diablo Immortal. His main bit of reasoning is that it's got a great score on the Apple App Store. People really love it. Admittedly, it does have a 4.5 out of 5 on the App Store, although Apple quote unquote gamers are fucking sickos. That's the only type of game that they know exists. It's like the only type of game that those people play are, microtransaction laden fucking slop. That's the only thing that's available on the App Store.
I'm more, how many of those are bots, huh?
Yeah.
Apple?
Yes. Or how many of them are just like 10 interns at Blizzard setting up accounts all day, every day, just to rate.
Have you seen the images of the people with like the gigantic like 2x4 rigs, holding up like dozens of cell phones?
Yes.
Like they're like click farms essentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
hiring a warehouse in Bangladesh to do that. Yeah. So he's quoted as saying, the monetization comes in at the end game. The philosophy was always to lead with great gameplay and make sure that hundreds of millions of people can go through the whole campaign without any cost. From that standpoint, I feel really good about it as an introduction to Diablo. But I love that explanation because it completely sidesteps the fact that
all I'm picturing is while he's saying this, they're filming him on camera. This is just a quote. He's swimming through a comically large pool of gold coins, like Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, Scrooge McDuck pool. Yeah. But yeah, it completely sidesteps the fact that actual dedicated Diablo fans only play the game for the end game.
Yeah.
That's what Diablo is. That's for
Yeah.
actual players. It's the PvP. That's what people need, and that's where the absolute ridiculous amount of money comes in. And as of like when this article came out, which is probably outdated at this point, it was making more than $1 million a day since launch.
Ridiculous. That's a huge amount of money.
So of course he's defending it. It's making them a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Again, Scrooge McDuck pool, just backstroke.
I like that they just are openly admitting to essentially using like a drug dealer's model. They're like, we're gonna give you a nice little taste until the
first hit's free.
Yeah, but puts a little bit on the finger and rubs it on your gums.
Yeah, isn't that tasty? Don't you love that? Don't you love that little endorphin rush? So these next bits about microtransactions really kind of tickled me. There was the findings and recommendations after a 2-year-long probe into the practice in the UK. These results were made public. So the report itself highlighted that there are both positive consequences of loot boxes, good loot and progressing and improving gameplay, and negative ones causing financial difficulties, poor mental health, and gambling problems.
One of these is not the same as the other.
Yeah, I was like, I think there's a little bit of an imbalance there over the good and the bad. So that was funny, but that wasn't the real funny bit to me.
Things look cool, but other people are becoming homeless because of it.
Yeah. According to the UK government, there is evidence from 15 peer-reviewed empirical studies that identified a stable and consistent association between loot box use and problem gambling. But the report said there are a range of plausible explanations that could underpin this association between loot box spending and problem gambling behaviors, and that further evidence is required. Then follows up to say, asking the industry to self-regulate. How does the industry respond? It's like, how does the industry respond? Let's go to our next thing.
Hold
they
on,
say,
I just want to
fuck
say
that,
one thing,
get that bag.
I like that they implied there that like, no, these people developed their gambling problem elsewhere. They've just brought it to the loot boxes. It's not the loot boxes.
That's just where just happens to be the place where they're losing their money.
Yeah. Exactly.
if COVID wasn't the thing, they'd be at the racetrack. They'd be at the slot machines. But yeah, so what does the industry say to self-regulating? Fuck that. Because our next one is the live action skate game. Let's just call it Skate 4, even though that's not what it is.
Live service.
What did I call it?
Live action.
Live action, sorry. Live service
Skate
game.
4 the movie.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, that's coming now. Fuck it.
Yeah.
You just made that happen.
Yeah, Lathe of Heaven shit gonna make that reality. But so there was a video published this week that was saying that the developers were saying, oh yeah, Skate won't contain paid loot boxes or paywalls or something like that. But then data miners dug in and several Reddit users posted the
Absolute
receipts.
sickos, but I love them.
Yeah, hey, when they got the receipts, you gotta love them. They posted a bunch of stuff from the beta showing unlockables in product boxes. Showing
they're not loot boxes, guys. They're product boxes. It's different.
We swear it's different, but it's like allowing players to unlock clothing, customization features. They claimed it won't contain paid loot boxes, but it looks like you got to use an unlockable in-game currency, which probably then has like which you then have to there's a that's why there's like multiple currencies. It's like, oh, you pay real money for gems and you use gems.
Then you use the gems
coins
to get and the coins get you SP.
Yeah, in this game they're called taps. In this game they're called taps. That's what you spend shit in. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the industry is like, I think we're gonna keep going. So it's nuts, man. Cannot trust them to self-regulate. You can't trust any industry to self-regulate, but as we've seen, like which Supreme Court
when you
case
say
was
self-regulate,
it?
companies go, oh, we will do everything we can. And then immediately dig a hole in the ground and just dump all of their toxic fluids. Like,
that's what's like. What I was just gonna say though is like that's what's proving is like the only recourse that consumers are going to have is hoping that companies self-regulate, because we're finding through say like another Supreme Court ruling like the one with the EPA that's basically completely undercutting any regulatory agency's authority to actually enforce regulations. So it's even if you put something on the books now, 5 years from now, when Brandon is dead, RIP, you guys hear, he's got the COVID-19. Thank you. And Godspeed, Brandon.
He's got his shots. He should be
let's go, Brandon.
Let's go beat that COVID. How do you think Kamala's feeling right now? She's like just sitting there with bated breath. It's like the memes like every cough, it's like her stony Valiumed out face is just going from dead inside to like every cough just smiling, just like smiling, and then he stops. He goes back. There's another cough, and then he smiles and stops. Absolutely deranged shit. But yeah, so again, there's we have no hope that these companies will self-regulate or even respond to the overwhelming community backlash, because we see with our next thing, our next major topic that has been a topic of discussion many times before, but these, no matter how much fans say no, and no matter how much the market itself is fucking crashing, gaming companies and publishers are still full steam ahead with NFTs and blockchain and crypto gaming. We got GameStop released their NFT marketplace.
People are still slurping apes, apparently.
Yeah, the apes have been slurped. Don't you worry.
I screenshotted all your apes, and now you're broke.
So I guess there was a little bit of there's some positives mixed in here as well, but first we got Square Enix again. They remain the ones that are still just completely just ignoring every single bit of resistance from the community. The first bit they backed a Bitcoin gaming startup, Zebedee, as part of their Series B funding, which that startup got like $35 million. Undisclosed how much of that Square put in, but
Yeah,
I wouldn't say a small amount.
I think Square's gonna be the first company to align itself with El Salvador, and El Salvador will make NFTs their next official currency because Bitcoin's worked so well for them.
The digital plus edition of Cloud Strife is going to be is going to be their gold standard.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that was the next bit, that their Square is selling physical figures of Final Fantasy characters.
The normal thing they do.
So yeah, the one that they announced was one for Cloud. It's selling for $130. The figure itself looks good. It looks like a cool fig. It looks like a nice.
They usually make some pretty good figures for their.
It's a nice
games.
It's a nice little statue. But then they've got to tack on that digital plus edition, which costs an additional $30 and includes an exchange ticket that you can redeem for your NFT version. For an NFT, and also a digital version of that same physical figure, which can be, quote, enjoyed on PC and smartphone. So it's like, yeah, you get a digital NFT version of the actual physical thing you already own. They're not even.
I'm picturing
separate.
You could just like pull up like a 3D model of it, like spin it around with your finger on your phone.
I don't even think it's that. I'm pretty sure it's literally just a JPEG.
And like,
it's not even a manipulable. I don't fuck it. It's not even something that you can,
yeah, you can't.
I don't think
change
it's
perspective.
a 3D thing. It's purely just a JPEG.
And like,
that's all it is.
But I'm confused. If they're selling these for $160 and everyone has one, like how is yours value going to ever increase? Like what? Yeah, I don't understand.
How's that actually work? Because it's the whole thing is that it's false scarcity, right? If everybody has.
I'm just sitting here thinking like I can take a picture of the physical model that I have, and then I have it on my phone. Then I can put it on my computer, and then it's on my computer.
But you don't have the proof that it's yours.
Yeah.
You don't have.
I hold my birth certificate in front of it with the receipt and my credit card.
Come get me now. But yeah, okay, it's not all bad though. It's still mostly bad, but not entirely all bad. Who would have thunk it's the Paul Rudd hot ones meme, like, who would have think we'd be here? Not me. Saying good things about Minecraft.
Look at us now.
Who would have thought? No, not me. But that they came out with one of the strongest statements I've seen, saying no NFTs. That I'll read. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just a little bit here. They say, it's pretty certain terms. There is a little bit of a caveat at the end, but it says each of these uses of NFTs and other blockchain technologies creates digital ownership based on scarcity and exclusion, which does not align with Minecraft values of creative inclusion and playing together. NFTs are not inclusive of all our community and create a scenario of the haves and have-nots. The speculative pricing and investment mentality around NFTs takes the focus away from playing the game and encourages profiteering, which we think is inconsistent with the long-term joy and success of our players.
That last sentence, I like that.
I mean, I like the bit that it creates a scenario of the haves and have-nots.
Yeah, that too.
But it's of course, as Matt, I know you pointed out, it says basically
I'm just cynical sometimes
that it is followed up with the assertion that they will keep reviewing blockchain tech in the future to see if it ever does fall in line with these listed values. And so my takeaway is here though is like, yeah, that's good of Minecraft. Like, I do think that they're doing a little bit of their own kind of rogue pull here, that like, they're talking of inclusivity and building community and all that stuff is all well and good. I just don't think that's really the reasoning behind it. And this is not a defense of NFT. This is not a defense of NFTs in any way, because the NFT, the NFT bros, the crypto bros would be like, will kind of make this similar point that like, the whole point of blockchain and NFTs is to, decentralize it so that the profit that's to be had can be shared by, the people and by creators. That's not really what that's also bullshit from them. That they just want to be the ones who are
being shared with.
Profit. Yeah, they don't want it to really be shared with everybody. They just want to be the ones on top. But so yeah, this is not a defensive.
It's a reverse funnel system, guys.
Yeah, it's decentralized game creation. But it's let's just be real here though. Like, of course, they don't want people buying and selling, their own skins and shit and various assets. Of course, Mojang doesn't want that to happen because they already do that. They already, make those things in-house, and it makes them a shit ton of money.
100%.
Why would they want to give up control of that?
No,
they absolutely would never want to do that. And they would only, embrace some type of, crypto blockchain tech if it allows them to stay, into kind of control the output of that kind of content.
Absolutely.
And again, that's not a defense. That's not saying that NFTs would solve that, or in blockchain tech is going to, because we've seen that's not true. It's all about imparting the cost onto somebody less fortunate, less lucky than you are.
Yeah, and I do think it's another thing with this statement to point out is like these companies, not all of them are as obtuse to the fan reaction, and this could just be them seeing what's happened with the marketplace, how people are reacting to it, and just saying it's an easy PR win for us to just say this now. It doesn't actually matter in the long term. Like, who gives a fuck if we say 12 months from now we reverse course? It doesn't matter. Like, they've not committed to anything. It hasn't
hurt them.
Like,
it's
just a PR win. So you got to definitely just take it with that grain of salt too.
The only good thing that comes of it is the sway that Minecraft has over the industry at large.
Yes.
It remains the number one most played game.
No,
so
it's
if they're not adopting it, that's gonna put a significant impediment to the rest of the industry adopting it, I would say.
I agree with you.
So that's I think the glimmer of goodness that you can kind of take from that. But so again, well, you have some little good things, but then again, it immediately gets taken away. Epic Game Store then responded to this statement obliquely. They didn't outright reference Minecraft or Mojang or Microsoft even, I think, in this, but the CEO, and I have I'm having their last names but not their actual first names. Is it Tim Sweeney?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
So man, have you ever seen that guy's Twitter Avi? It's just this scrawniest, nerdiest, geeky motherfucker ever. Like, just someone you want to throw in a locker. But he
sounds right.
He conveniently, everywhere you see him, has a locker that follows him to be thrown into.
So his statement, though,
it just floats behind him.
His statement was, developers should be free to decide how to build their games, and you are free to decide whether to play them. I believe stores and operating system makers shouldn't interfere by forcing their views onto others. We definitely won't. And I'm just like, cool.
So there was this point in time where Tim Sweeney was just cool with everything, and now he's just kind of become a contrarian. So anytime Steam or anyone says something, he's like, we'll not do that because we're different.
Yeah.
Puts on his sunglasses. I don't agree with that, so I'm going to do this dickhead thing instead.
No, he just believes in the freedom of the creator.
That's why he gives their games away for free.
Uh-huh. It really does a whole lot for their bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
They're really seeing real benefits from that model. All right, so that's a whole lot of kind of shitty stuff. There's been good news though. There has been some more
yay,
more positive things to celebrate going on. Again, a lot of these things aren't set in stone yet. They're processes that are ongoing, but I think we can, as leftists, be excited about and to things to support. We're seeing more labor action within the industry as a large, the industry at large, as well as specifically at Activision. One of the say the worst offenders of poor working conditions. We're seeing a lot of groundswell, and it makes a certain amount of sense, obviously, and the organizers for the QA workers at Blizzard Albany, the formerly Vicarious Visions people, the studio behind the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games that was purchased and dissolved by Blizzard. Yeah, RIP. They in their kind of their press release stuff, they've been talking about how they were starting organizing around the same time, but like really picked up steam and were totally galvanized by the success at Raven. And so it makes sense that more and more are popping up localized to Activision because of that. They see that they have greater confidence that it's possible. But before I forget, there was another one that popped up. It's an indie studio has also paved the way to unionize as well. A small indie company called Tender Claws, and I think they're even on a faster track because I'm pretty sure management has elected to voluntarily recognize the union. So I don't think they're going to have to fight as well. That they're just moving on to the negotiation phase. I think that's from what I've read. That seems to hear be the case. So yeah, it's not just these major ones, but obviously as I was just saying, these bigger studios having these successful campaigns are obviously what is galvanizing and pushing these other nascent unions forward for sure.
Yeah, and I think we see this even outside of the industry to some extent with Starbucks and Amazon warehouses,
right? Absolutely,
having more success.
These organizers mentioned them as well. We're in a new
sort of
movement.
Success. One of those Starbucks or a couple of those have just mysteriously closed down and stuff.
Unfortunately,
sure. Mystery. I wonder what happened.
I'm a really good detective, and I can't figure it out. So you can trust me.
It's a real whodunit.
Hardy Boys are on the case.
So Blizzard Albany is their QA workers have filed their union vote with the National Labor Relations Board. Like Raven, they are working with the CWA, the Communication Workers of America. I think so was Tender Claws as well. They seem to be now the go-to for it. But let's not kid ourselves. Well, again, it would be so smart for Activision to take the PR win and voluntarily recognize them. It's not going to happen. There's no way that's going to happen. Because let's see what Activision's response was the same as it was to Raven's. And I think even the verbiage is exactly the same. We deeply respect the rights of all employees under the law to make their own decisions about whether or not to join a union. We believe that a direct relationship between the company and its employees is the most productive relationship. So, it's clear what they think. It's, that's just saying, no. That's them saying union bad. Unions are inefficient. You don't want to pay those dues. It's like, we're a family here. A family who assaults and harasses each other endlessly.
A family who harasses together stays together.
makes mediocre games together
that somehow make $45 million.
But this is cool. So the union is calling itself GWA Albany, Game Workers Alliance Albany. While they're waiting for Blizzard's response, one of the associate test analysts and member of the organizing committee, Amanda Levin, she is hopeful that there will be more unions within the company popping up on the horizon. She says, I would be very, very surprised if there are not already several other nascent unions in various stages of organizing. And I think the more successes we see in the industry and at the company in particular, that we're going to be seeing more and more. So that's good. But they're they're constantly pushing for more action here. That's seen actually in the next bit of the more labor action being done at Activision. This last Thursday, July 21st, so it will be last week when this episode comes out. The workers at 4 of the publisher's North American offices, California, Texas, Minnesota, New York, which is where this new union is coming from, conducted a walkout to protest the company's lackluster response to the Supreme Court's overturning of Roe v. Wade. We talked about it on an earlier episode when they were announcing that they were going to do this, but they timed this walkout to be exactly a year from the filing of that first California lawsuit about workplace harassment. But they are you saw stuff about these workers are obviously they're demanding the specific things revolving around abortion rights and access to healthcare. But then there were plenty of people in these walkouts that were had signs and stuff that's basically unionize the industry. It's like they're setting their sights for the long term. So they're not, none of these organizers are sitting on their laurels. So I think it's something to take a whole lot of inspiration from and to see going forward.
100%. One of the few bright spots out there at the moment.
But for the specifics of what they're demanding from the company in terms of abortion access and stuff, their Activision is very much in line with other companies that are offering cash reimbursements for out-of-state medical care. There's something here, they're offering $4,000 in reimbursements, but they completely ignore the fact that such activities still leaves employees open to legal prosecution in their home state when they return. So a better ABK, one of the organizations within the company that are the advocacy group within the company, made this statement on Twitter saying, travel reimbursements do not remove workers from imminent danger. Our demands ensure that our workers safely, affordably, and legally maintain access to life-saving procedures like abortions and trans-affirming healthcare. So in addition to making demands concerning such healthcare, they are also asking for an end to forced arbitration, clear and transparent dialogue with internal committee against sex and gender discrimination group, and a legal commitment to labor neutrality, like the one that Microsoft has agreed to. And so again, they are using this as an opportunity, right? I think their organizers are very savvy, and their scheduling, what they're asking for, and how they're going about doing it. Because we've seen that these walkouts are working. What I don't know, and I didn't see it may have just been a one-day thing. It's nothing as along the lines of what they did initially with the walkouts at Raven that spurred the real organizing for the union. So we'll see what comes of this. But again, they're looking ahead. They're looking more big picture. So good for them. Solidarity with all those at Activision organizing, both publicly now, as well as those that are still kind of under wraps, and keep fighting the good fight. We here at Campaign Comrades, we support you, we love you, smooches. Yeah, that's been some good stuff coming.
We see you, we hear you, you are valid.
You are indeed valid in our eyes.
But not this next group.
Not this next group. No, never. Absolutely never. Our final topic for today. We've been kind of doing a little bit of similar stuff these past few weeks, but it's just because it's the usual suspects, man. They're at it again.
They can't help themselves.
Yeah, they really can't. We're just constantly here though, praying for thoughts and prayers.
Well, I said it last night, didn't I? That they're literally doing save us from ourselves because they want to be bought. So they're just puking on themselves on the floor.
Yeah, we are always hoping for the downfall of Ubisoft here. They are a dog shit company that is circling the drain. I sent you guys the meme earlier, the outlook for this. It's just it's not looking good, bro. It's not looking good. So I don't know, Andrew, if you had a chance to look at that games industry piece over their financials. The only thing I pulled from it, because I'm not going to melt my brain going into it, is that their earnings for the first quarter of 2022 was down 9.8%, which I feel like
an almost double-digit percentage drop is like not insignificant.
That's
it's a pretty big deal.
No, it's definitely not insignificant. And I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at what the industry results as a whole look like over the first quarter, but I would be very surprised if there was anywhere near this level of decrease, especially with what we've seen over the last couple of years with the gaming industry. I mean, maybe it's flat as an industry, but there's no way it's down.
I have read that it has gone down a little bit this year. Over this past bit,
not almost 10%
from the COVID peak. Yeah, it's down from the COVID peak, but nowhere near this bad. Everywhere else, but like, so,
and even comparing, and this is even comparing to 2021 even. So like that's at that point we had started seeing vaccinations and things like that. But yeah, it's definitely.
Are you trying to make a correlation between people getting vaccinated and going outside?
Yeah.
Touching grass.
So yeah, but how is this actually affecting their production though? Well, we found out through a release of through like an investor call. CEO Yves Guillemot has broken the news that there are several major delays as well as several outright cancellations have been announced. The biggest delay, the biggest ticket item that, again, none of us here at the channel were surprised about whatsoever, is that Avatar Frontiers of Pandora has been delayed to, this is the funny part, sometime in 2023 to 2024. That is an exceptionally wide
December 2024, December 31st,
11:59 p.m. We held our word. But man, just why not just say, because they just don't want to say that, delayed indefinitely, because that's, that would be too much. That would be
they
too
don't
much.
Want to say it's definitely not a game right now.
Yeah. Oh man. Guillemot blamed the delay for this one on broader COVID-related production issues, as well as a desire to make the game a strong start to a new series. They need it. They really need it, particularly with this.
I mean,
next
I was
delay.
A little surprised because I thought they were going to do everything to move hell and high water to get that game out this year for the movie.
I mean, I told you, because of the proposed release schedule for the next sequels, they're actually fine. They'll be able to capitalize off of a movie.
Yes, but the hype for this one is going to be different because it's been 72 years, Jack.
Yeah, so you're not wrong about that. You are not wrong about that. This was definitely the ideal. But yeah, they totally need this to be, a hit, an absolute, banger hit for them.
They're already looking at making it into a franchise, is what they also said.
Right, no, that's what they're saying. Yeah, no, say the strong start to a new series. Yeah, they need it to be something that's going to stand the test of time, because, as they're showing, they're the only thing that's still bringing them in money is Assassin's Creed. But they can't even keep that shit together. They can't even, like, that ship is not even sound. The second major delay was that I guess is technically speculation. The Avatar one is the only one that was confirmed as what is being delayed, but it's largely understood that it's their project codename Rift, which is
their next Assassin's Creed game.
No, it was the smaller spin-off. It was the one that was like gonna be like a Valhalla like DLC or something like that, expansion. That then became its own smaller game that they were going to use that one that was meant to tie together the release schedule for the mainline games. This was a smaller spin-off. But yeah, no, that's been delayed as well with no indication of to when that might come out. So yeah, they can't even like deal with the, they can't even
They
keep
couldn't
the
even
money
give us a
maker.
2023 to 2024 on that one.
Yeah. But like, say like the money machine is just not printing what it used to, if that's the case, like we've seen so many bits that they're just fucking hemorrhaging talent. So many employees,
And they just want to be bought.
but there are plenty of employees that are like, anonymously telling journalists that, they're facing fewer and smaller raises. There's less hiring, budget freezes, and that there's just a new wave of austerity that is sweeping the company. That's as they say that as they're bracing for a potential recession. But like, let's be clear, it's just because of shitty mismanagement and the creation of bad games. Let's be honest. The games aren't selling because they're not good.
No, it's not our fault. Other people are releasing good games, and that's their fault.
Yeah, that's the Halo Infinite argument. But so then we get to the ones that were outright canceled. So we have got the Splinter Cell VR game and the Ghost Recon Frontline game, which was the battle royale influenced multiplayer shooter that people were just after playtests were just saying, yeah, it's a shitty Call of Duty Warzone rip off. So yeah, those are just straight up canceled. So the Guillemot made this statement. In the current economic context, carefully and strategically managing our investments is critical now more than ever. We must therefore succeed in strongly limiting our spending to what is essential by questioning some of our habits and reflexes, and by reinventing ourselves together to make gains in terms of cost, agility, and efficiency. It's just like, ooh, I fucking love to see it. I absolutely love that string of words there together. Because yeah, what does that mean to you, Eve? Like what you say who's being reimagined? Whose impulses are being limited here? Definitely not yours. Definitely not you in the boards, for sure.
Hey, no, he reduced his bonus.
Gave up $300,000, man.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, poor little guy.
He sacrificed just as much as all of those people who are about to lose their job and benefits if they live in a stupid country like America.
We're gonna lay off all these employees, and I'll take their salary out of my bonus in solidarity. $300,000.
Yeah.
So did you guys see then this next piece from Ubisoft, the like completely tone deaf response, I think, to a completely legitimate issue?
Yep.
But like the phrasing of a bunch of devs decrying the complaints of quote unquote entitled gamers. Because again, let's be clear, what they were talking about is things like death threats and abuse and that kind of shit levied at developers who have absolutely no control of a game's release or its marketing. Completely unacceptable. Save that shit for the executives in Minecraft. Of course.
Save that shit for the lobbies where you're playing against random people you'll never see again.
Yeah, but just man, that because again they're completely right. Yeah, like no developer deserves death threats over their even mediocre or bad game. That no one needs that. But like just the tone deaf nature of calling them entitled gamers is just like you're asking to get abuse from that now. Like that's just like spitting in the face of these rabid wolves. Like and then being like, oh my god, I got bit.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, it's just like, oh, again, Ubisoft can literally do nothing but wrong. And frankly, I'd love to see it. Oh, that reminds me, I didn't even put it in the notes. I heard some insider stuff that people are saying that Skull and Bones, the other major thing that's so like the only thing that Ubisoft has left is Mario plus Rabbids and Skull and Bones, and people on the inside are saying Skull and Bones is going to be dog shit. They're saying that like
oh, no.
they're saying that like there's maybe a good smattering of different gameplay elements, but that each element is painfully shallow. So like hitting
how
the
is that
there.
even possible?
The game is been in development for like 10 years now. Like
development hell. Honestly, I bet you it's shallow because they were probably just like, fuck it, it's been in development for so long.
We'll get it out of here. We
Ship
can't be
it, get
spending
it
more
out.
money.
We're done
Yeah.
with this.
We can't be spending more money on it. Although again, it's a live service game, so they're saying like, yeah, we're gonna support
We
it
have to
for
spend
years
money.
to come. Like we're gonna have to keep spending money, but it's like, yeah, it's like in order to keep that going, we got to convince some people.
They're
to pay
opening a new development studio in Malaysia where there will definitely not be 10-year-olds working to keep this game running.
Yeah, learning to code. But yeah, learning to code.
All I'm hearing is 10-year-olds who know how to program better than we do.
All right. So the last
In
little
Minecraft,
thing,
of course.
yeah, the last little thing here though, it's like that, but that ties directly in. It's like we know that these, like, you know, these big title delays and stuff like Avatar are, you know, directly or obviously a direct response to the you know, the cyberpunk effect.
Yeah.
You know, it's because we're seeing you know, stuff from inside
Consequences for
books.
our own actions. Ooh.
Yeah, but that CD Projekt Red is still themselves still fucking reeling from this, and say Ubisoft is already in hot water, so they cannot afford you know, what CDPR is going through right now, where they went from like one of the highest
People thought CD
rated,
Projekt Red could do no wrong.
Yeah, they were like the high, one of the highest rated companies on like the Polish exchange, but they have since cratered and lost 75% of their worth, going from over 40 billion whatever Polish currency is, zloty, I don't know how you pronounce that or would say that, to now less than 10
they've
billion.
lost 5/6.
Yeah, it's insane.
They've lost
absolutely
5/6 of their value.
I mean, they're still
happened.
pretty highly rated in terms of their competition in Poland. So it's like they're not necessarily like, you know, in as dire straits as Ubisoft is necessarily.
I mean,
but you know, that's still incredible to see that level of loss, you know. And did anybody get fired for that? Did any executive lose their job for that?
No,
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
No one did.
How is that possible? You know, it's nuts. I know why it's possible,
crazy.
But like it's incredible. But yeah, that's it for today. I think that was some interesting things, some ups and downs. Again, we're sending only bad thoughts and prayers to Ubisoft and to Yves Guillemot. And
Ubisoft is just rolling around on the floor right now. It's 7:00 at night. The party started an hour ago. They're puking on themselves. They're just like, you know, crying about how much they miss Assassin's Creed from 2007.
Yep.
Like,
man, it's so funny to me. So yeah,
hopefully,
eat shit, Ubisoft.
Yeah, hopefully they do eat shit, and their stock will be worth like $1.50 if they experience another severe drop off in value.
Buy the dip before they get bought out by like fucking BlackRock.
Yeah. Oh, the 100%. There's no way they aren't going to be bought out at this point. They're trading at $8. They were at $20 in 2021. So,
all right. So that's all I had on the docket for today. Any plugs you boys got before we say goodbye?
None extra from me.
So we've already plugged the Twitch and the YouTube channel. Go ahead and check us out, though. Again, we stream it almost every day of the week on Twitch at campaign_comrades. I stream with one of my players from D&D. We talk about all sorts of just kind of like gaming and pop culture stuff. Check us out at Blind Jacob on Twitch. Saturdays is generally when we've been doing it. But yeah, much love to everybody except Ubisoft, and we'll see you next time. Mike might be from the grave at that point. He might be on next week's episode.
And on the 5th day, he has risen.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. So yeah, by the time you're hearing this, he'll have taken the bar. So much love to him.
So even though he's taken it, still send the energy.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, gang. Till next time. We love you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Peace.